to y'all. But what the fuck that got to do with the mic? I analyze every rhyme you write. You ain't nice. What Pap can't do, the lyrical one can. I hit the mixtape circuit for a few months span. Now you running around screaming, Pat, push up, man. But I've been nice since they used to shoot up jams. G-packs on the block trying to move $1,000. Everybody scatter when the knobs pull up vans. Man, it's hard in the hood, gotta use your plans. When you get some real money, cop you some land. Better watch how you choose your mans. Ass had they turn, but they don't wanna give you your chance. I ain't asked you for no favors when you blew up scrams. I mix baking soda with coke and blew up grams. Your fans become mine when we do one jam. I'm like an air conditioner, I make you lose your fans.
And you know this.
But what the fuck that got to do with the mic? I analyze every rhyme you write. You ain't nice.
Jeff Hardy, one of the Hardy Boys, thank you for being here.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Definitely, thank you. I guess my first question was how you got started in the wrestling business.
Oh man, it's a story I've told a lot. My brother and I basically watched WrestleMania 4, and Macho Man won the title in a tournament. So, you know, we both said, hey, we want to do that, man. And we went out to the forest, cut some trees down and put them around a trampoline and put some ropes up, garden hose as ropes, and started having little shows, man. And at first we would really shoot, you know, we would wrestle him, but then that led to choreographing matches and emulating what we would see on TV, and that led to this.
So you're a big wrestling fan growing up, basically?
Oh, basically, yeah.
Cool. What promotions did you watch growing up?
We seen mostly WCW, like more than we would see WWF, because we were South, you know, like we seen a lot of Ric Flair, and we heard a lot of woo, and WWF was just like the Mac Daddy. It was like this show that we didn't see that much, but it did come to Fayetteville like one time, and I remember seeing Andre the Giant. That was pretty mind blowing to see him in real life, you know. It was great.
How old were you when you first started watching?
I was, let's see, when was WrestleMania 4? What year?
WrestleMania 4, well, one was what, 84? Around 80, 87, 88 maybe?
So it was probably like, I don't know, 10 or something.
Okay.
I was born in 77, I think.
Ha.
Yeah, something like that, 10, 12, 13.
So you basically, when you were little, you said, oh, I want to be a wrestler when I grow up.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And it really set in like around the teen like years, whenever, like later, you know, when I started actually like developing talent, and I could feel myself developing, you know, a passion to do it, and that really, you know, whenever we like made ourselves, whenever we said to ourselves, we are going to do this, you know, we would die before we didn't.
What was TWF?
At first it was Trampoline Wrestling Federation, and then it was Teens Wrestling Federation.
Basically backyard type deal?
Backyard, oh yeah. Not as violent as the stuff you see on TV.
Did you guys like do crazy stuff on the trampoline? Is that how you got?
Oh yeah, and I think that leads to a lot of our aerial, you know, especially earlier in the Hardy Boys tag team, you know, days. I mean, that's totally why we were the acrobats at that time.
Were there any particular wrestlers back then that you tried to pattern yourself after?
Yeah, I was like a combination of Sting from WCW and the Ultimate Warrior from WWF at the time, because I would run to the ring and I loved the Warrior's entrance mainly, but I would love it when Sting would go, ow! And all the girls would scream and the pain on the face, you know, so I was the combo of them.
Was there any time like you guys said, all right, it's time to go get trained, we want to get into this business the legit way and stuff?
Yeah. At one point we kind of felt we had to do that because we were hurting each other and we had no idea. I remember the left side was the biggest thing, and Stallion was where we finally learned. We finally, like, Matt was the first to like dive in his ocean of rip-offs and you know, Matt's the free shows, and but we learned everything with him and George South doing shows for them, and we wouldn't have got to WWF if it wasn't for him. So we owe him a lot, actually, but he would rip us off.
As far as what?
Oh, booking fees, man. We would get paid $100 in WWF at the time. It was back when they were doing 3 like Monday Night Raws on Monday night, and then they would do Tuesday and Wednesday. Man, we would get $150, and he would take $100 from us each night, and we would drive from, like, you know, North Carolina to here, and he was racking up, man, on the money. But we didn't care, dude. It was the best to us, man. I mean, you know, we were on TV. I was like a junior, telling people I was going to be on TV next week. That was pretty cool in high school.
That's awesome.
So that was awesome.
Who were some of the guys that you first started working with? As far as when you first went in to do jobs like that?
Oh, the first match I ever had was with Scott Hall, and Matt was Nikita Matt was on the live Monday Night Raw that night, I remember, and I thought, man, so much was going on. I was the first one to go out of the whole group, so I was tore up. I was tore up, man. The cuss words on this thing.
You could do whatever you want to shoot, so curse definitely.
And man, I was tore the hell up, dude. And like, I remember going out there, and it was a dream, man. It really was, man. And he beat the living out of me, man. And I was about to cry, man, when I came back, because he was mad for some reason too that day. But I took a decent beating, and you know, it was a little weird, all the selling and jumping around I did, but like, it was kind of original, I guess. And the next night, I ended up at that time after that match, I hated it, man. I mean, it broke my heart almost, man. But then the next night, I wrestled Sean Waltman, 1, 2, 3 Kid at the time, and we had a real good match because he was more my size and refilled my soul.
Now, as far as training before you actually got up to WWE and stuff like that, what was training like?
It was pretty much out of control. It wasn't like in control or anything. It was like ourselves teaching. I mean, we would learn from Stallion the basics that we needed to know. Like, for instance, for example, working the left. That was something we had no idea until we got there. And once we learned the main things that we needed to know, man, we just kind of bloomed ourselves into pretty good wrestlers, man. But when the camps came along, man, I mean, that totally like tested our technical and our mat work, you know, once again.
So who do you think basically was your mentor early on? As far as teaching you psychology and stuff like that?
Yeah, I would have to say it was probably, I'll give it to Michael Hayes, man. If that's, because I mean, we met him like right around the time we first started doing jobs. And it was kind of like he's seen us, and when he seen something in us right away, and it wasn't nothing that you really can explain. It's just something you kind of feel, you know?
Right.
Like that bond or connection, and what that led to as far as, you know, him and like us. I mean, he was our wrestling daddy, and still thinks he is. And we learned so much from him, man. And we took care of him, you know, on the road, because he's a wrestler. When he's a pro wrestler, he's wide open.
What were some of the early promotions that you actually worked for early on in your career before Omega?
And this could be, I remember Steve Carino had some, you know, Steve.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was called, but he lived down in somewhere near us for a while, and that was NWA 2000, I think is what it was called. And we would do like some shows in Raleigh. This was a pretty popular hardcore show out in Silva, North Carolina. It was like the mountains, man. It was like the deepest and darkest valleys, and man, guys, the fans would be up against the apron with weapons. It was, when you see the videos, like, it's crazy looking. You could not go outside because it was a small. But that was kind of our first vibe of like going into a little building and there only being 10 people there. Right. And then you know, 2 months later, there would be like 300 jam packed in there, and that was kind of cool because we built it and we felt that it was our talent that brought them in there. So that was cool. And that was NCW.
How did Amigo Wrestling start?
That was a mass brainstorm. We had done a few things before that. I think the one right before that was in FWA, and for some reason that got canceled. Matt really wanted to do something, you know, that sounded kind of different, and it was different. And then that Omega, like, he came up with each, you know, word for the Omega or whatever, original, modern, extreme graphic. I don't remember what it was, but it was something like that. And like, it was strange, man, but it caught on, man. And I think there's somewhat of a little cult following. This, like, trade this tapes. And like, Will of the Wisp was a mask gimmick that I loved to do, and people really got into it. And it was fun, man. It was a good time.
Basically, you and Matt were basically the head bookers of the promotion, right?
Yeah, and Matt did most of the work. I would mainly just like, Matt lived off sponsorships, man, for shows. I mean, I was still working at the time, like landscaping or whatever, but Matt would make his money off sponsors. He worked, you know, hard. That's all he did. That's all he's ever done.
What kind of style did you think the promotion would be when it first started?
I knew it would be like, at that point we were really starting to get, we had just started breaking tables and stuff, man. We had just seen like Sabu doing that, where he gets mad, breaking tables, and man, that blew our minds, man. So naturally that got our, you know, minds working, and we were like breaking tables and getting a little more violent. It was a hardcore type, but then the Lucha Libre was there too. Like, that was a big. I loved that when I first seen them, and Rey Mysterio and Psychosis in ECW. Right.
Man, this is probably 94, 95 then. Right?
Yeah, that's about that time. Yeah, man, that was some breakthrough stuff, and it really kind of like made me want to, you know, go to Mexico.
What were some of your goals when you first started?
Girls? Oh, they're awesome.
What were some of your early goals when Omega started?
Oh, man, I think it's probably a goal of like every, like, independent that really loves and has passion for the business, man. It was to be like in competition with Vince McMahon and doing pay-per-views, and one day like getting there to, man, which, and that's far-fetched, and because it's so hard to put on a show. I mean, there's so much to it that people they have no idea. Like fans, as far as like, man, oh, shoot, there's been so many people that I know that have tried to put on indie shows just because they think they can do it and it's so easy. But yeah, well, I've done drifted away from that question.
I was just asking you what some early goals were with you and Amigo and your brother.
Oh yeah, just to be the best and be up there with Vince McMahon and on TV, and like, you know, but that never happened. Man.
What happened at the first show you guys had with Manny Fernandez?
Oh, that was pretty creepy, like for Matt mainly, because he was, I think we were in Sanford, but he was booked in Stanford, like
right,
or some little town like that, that was similar sounding. He comes in and he's the shoot fighter, you know, or whatever, and well, we knew, that's all we knew him as, is like him people up, man, like right and left. And so he comes in talking about how he was booked and he needs to wrestle, and then the Hurricane, you know, he was there, and his partner at the time, Mike Maverick. That's how, like, Manny found out about the show at a show that the night before or something they were on, and they said they had nothing to do with like him knowing about it or whatever. But Matt had to finally say, hey, look, man, you're not, we don't got room, man. Plus, I don't got money to pay you, man. I mean, you're just gonna have to leave or whatever. So he stood up to him, and Manny, like, we thought he was gonna knock the hell out of Matt, you know, or something. But like he said, well, that's kind of, but you got a place where I can set up my gimmicks.
Huh.
and he set up his gimmicks, he sold gimmicks, and he was cool.
How did you come up with the name Will the Wisp?
It's a Marvel Comics like character that I've seen in Marvel Universe. I think he was involved in a lot of Spider-Man comic books. I spelled it different, and I think there's some kind of, I know that I can't explain it perfectly, but there's some kind of like legend behind some swamp and phosphorus gas or something. And it just sounded cool to me, like, and the way the look developed was like, it was really cool, man. It just, he basically makes no sense, and like, and that's what I love about it. It's so easy to do a promo and just sound intense and everything, but it don't make it don't have to make sense to be good to him. Really.
So basically, like, working that gimmick better than Jeff Hardy back then.
Oh yeah, man. And people love it. It was kind of the in-betweener, man. Like now, you know, it's kind of hard to, like, a bad guy and a good guy, man. Heel on his face or whatever. It's kind of hard to. It's not like it used to be, you know. It's like cool now to drink beer and like people up, you know, like, and that's what people cheer for. But at that time, it was kind of like the in-betweener feel for me, and it wasn't the baby face, but it wasn't the heel. It wasn't like I could just be, man, I was totally released. And actually, man, when I put that mask on, man, I feel like he's inside me, man. Like it's a very good release for me, like just to be, you know, different and feel like a little supernatural or something. Yeah, right.
What's that?
That could be the sound of even cheaper car insurance. Elephant.co.uk.
Elephant.co.uk?
Yes, you can go online, get a quote in minutes, and you could save loads on your car insurance. And if you have an accident, you could even get a free courtesy car. Shh.
Elephant.co.uk, I presume.
For even cheaper car insurance, it's elephant.co.uk.
Nice new drill, Steve. Quality is that?
Yeah. You won't believe the price I got it for either. Yeah, I didn't notice you popping out for all that kit, John.
That's because I had it delivered. Only ordered it last night at 5 to 6.
What are you reading, Nick?
The new Screwfix Direct catalogue is the tradesman's secret that's too good to share. Call 0800 68 78 88 now for your free copy.
Cold sores? I hate how they feel and look. When I feel one, I want it gone. Fast.
Think fast. Think Zavarax. It starts to work immediately. Nothing fights the virus faster.
So I'm my real self again. Fast.
Think fast. Think Zavarax.
When a sore throat makes you fade into the background, you need Strepsils. Strepsils not only soothes pain fast, so you can feel like yourself again, but also contains active ingredients that keep on working, working, and working even after the lozenge has gone. Strepsils, first aid for sore throats.
Indulge your washing. New Surf with essential oils.
Migraine is not just a headache. A chemical imbalance in the brain induces headache, nausea and sensitivity to light and sound. Imigran Recovery is the only treatment that tackles both the symptoms and the root cause of the migraine itself, helping to restore the chemical imbalance back to normal. Imigran Recovery, a positive way out of migraine.
Donne, nuovi Bertolli, nuovi Bertolli!
3 new Bertolli pasta sauces made with natural ingredients.
Did you know the plant sterols in Flora Proactive are proven to help lower cholesterol?
How did you come up with some of the other characters that you worked as?
Oh man, in those TWF days, we were so many apiece, man. Like I was about 10 and Matt was about 10. We would just sit around and do that, man, and think of what we could wear that would be different. Like Matt would be, at least I would always have something on my face to make me look. He'd be like 2 different characters and be exposing his face.
Right.
I mean, but yeah, we were so into that, man. We've always been like original, and that's been a big part of our whole careers, man. Like I hate when we would go to an independent show and see somebody running an Undertaker gimmick. I mean, man, you're never gonna do anything if you're not. Do something. You gotta do something nobody's seen, and be original. We've always been like with moves too. We've always wanted that to be first.
What are some of your early memories of some of your matches with your brother in Omega Wrestling?
Man, the best match ever. I actually watched it about a month ago. Man, was with the Serial Thrillers, which was Hurricane and Mike Maverick. It was at Window. I think it was in Window, North Carolina. We were in the daisy tights and everything, and that was the first time we actually were heels because it was their high school. It was, man, we were out, and it was so awesome. Man, I did like a fancy move and got up, ran over to kiss Matt right on the lips. Ha! And the crowd was so into it, and like, I've wrestled so much, since then you kind of just forget about the man. And I was like, damn, that's good, man. That was fun, that was so fun. And man, we had a lot of fun, that's for sure. And Matt, like, if he ever had the chance to spend a lot of money and run a promotion, that's after he gets through wrestling, man, he will be like in wrestling until he dies, like storyline, and he'll be an agent, man. He'll be a great agent.
I was going to ask you as far as that. What did you learn when you were booking back then? As far as
basically that I didn't want to book, man. I didn't want that. That was it. I just wanted to wrestle and get paid. I mean, because I've always been involved in other things, like doing that and other things, but yeah, I'm serious. And when I said, man, Matt worked his ass off, and I wanted to just, my main part in Omega was running 2 characters and keeping them which I did a really good job at keeping the selling different in each character and the voice, and that's tough, man. Like just because there's been so many moves done and everything, and just to have different moves for each gimmick. But that was my main thing, and Matt always, man, he would make sure, because he always loved that I would do that, and every night, I would wrestle twice, no matter what.
Did you like working your brother down there? Basically? Oh
yeah, man, I've always loved working. Yeah, man, I like working with him as a team though a lot better, because man, it's hard for us to have a match and not get in a real fight. I mean, it really is, man, because he is crazy. He is so crazy. I mean, I know a lot of people say I'm the crazy one, and when I'm the one now that's currently, unemployed and all that, it kind of looks like that. But anyway, Matt, man, he will, God, not sure with your brother you're going to be rougher.
Right.
But man, we've had so many. When we wrestled that last time, we did a little feud there, man. God, we were killing each other. But I love it, man. It's great to be with you, man. It's awesome.
What were some of your favorite matches in Omega?
Probably, we did a bunch of ladder matches, man. It was really good. Matt, my favorite overall was probably like this 2 out of 3 falls match. It was this gimmick match. It was like the first fall was, I think, submission. The second fall was, what was the second fall? Like hardcore maybe, and then the third fall was like ladder. And that was like that was the match where I unmasked myself. It was right when we were, you know, quitting Amigo like altogether, and that was awesome, man. Like, because the entrance, there was a bunch of willows that came out, and it was just real emotional, like for me, just pulling the mask off in front of everybody, because we did a whole deal where it looked like he was gonna. The match was that he had to pull. It was like something title versus mask, I think, and I ended up winning, so I didn't have to pull my mask off, but I did it anyway.
Right.
It was real cool, man. I went all left Bill, went up in the woods and was crying and stuff, man, just because it was real emotional. And that's a good thing, man. It really is. Those are some, man, I hope that happens in WWE, honestly, one day, the whole Willow thing. That'd be great. I really feel that it would be great.
Did they ever approach you about doing that there?
No, I don't even know if they've seen it, actually. I mean, unless they've seen, like, some just tapes, you know, that's been traded or whatever, but...
I guess you guys supplied them with the footage when they aired, when you did the Sting gimmick and all, because I remember them showing that on TV one time.
Oh, yeah, because that's on a video.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they've seen, like, the Willow character, they've never said anything about it. I'm Mr., you know, little, I don't know, the girls... Little girls like, you know, Mr. You know, heart.
They gotta show your face.
Yeah, no, they don't want me. The last thing they want me to send a mask, I guess.
How did Shane Helms and Shannon Moore end up in Amiga? And what were they like early on in their careers?
Shannon was like, whenever we went to, when I went to high school, I was like Matt was a senior when I was a freshman. Same thing was with Shannon. That's when me and Shannon really started hanging out.
Right.
And Shannon, that's when he really started wanting to wrestle, but he was so little, and man. I remember Matt was just like, you know, Matt was on the weight gainer and the amino acids and everything, trying to put on the size. It was still kind of a big thing. You had to be kind of big to be a wrestler. And Shannon was so little, and he had a feeling like he couldn't do it. But I knew he always wanted to do it because he always wanted to do like anything I would do. And I just like started training him, man, and like that's real cool to see somebody you've actually kind of trained and to see him like do good like he's doing now. We met Shane at some indie show. Just we were actually there to watch it. We were kind of just trying to make connections at the time, like just going to shows, giving demo tapes out, silly man, all we could. And that's when we met Shane. And he was a toothpick. He was like a toothpick, man. He was so skinny and little, and we were like, man, yeah, this guy's kind of like a mutant or something, man. He fit in the group. But yeah, and then we met him, and really, Matt and him really hit it off. Like they had a lot in common, and we were good. We were good together.
What was Shane Helms like back then, as far as like a person?
He's always been kind of a shooter, man. Like, God, man, like a badass shooter. Like, if somebody says something, he's gonna fight. Like, back then he was like wide open. Like, he wanted to like wrestle or fight all the time, man. That was what he was all about. And he was a badass, man. That's for sure. He was a little dude. He was, you know, badass.
How about Shannon? What was he like outside the ring?
Shannon was a little more like me. He was kind of like quiet, more quiet, and just kind of crazy, you know, like. He was more into the motorcycles and stuff at the time, and yeah, man, people always used to call him Little Jeppy Boy because he would always like dye his hair, popped down my hair. So he was pretty cute and all that. But yeah, he was more like me, Matt, and Shane was more like Matt.
Music City Wrestling. How'd you get there?
That's Tennessee?
Yeah, I think Burt Prentice ran it.
Oh,
Burt.
It was good. How did we get there? I think. I honestly don't remember how we got there.
Any memories of Music City? If not,
I remember that long drive, but I don't know how we got that hook up. I'm pretty sure it was something like through that Chris Hamrick or something.
Okay.
Somebody that we knew, man, that lived out in that Tennessee area. It was from we did them hardcore shows. So that was out near the Tennessee line, so it was something like that.
Cool. Any memories that stick out in your head, or is it just another territory?
No, because we didn't do too many shows. Okay. I think there was a little local. Did they have TV, like local TV?
Yeah, they did.
I think we did. It seems like Willow Dynamo me and Shannon had a little match that was pretty good. People like, I remember Tom Pritchard said he'd seen it because he lived out in that area,
right, or
something. And yeah, you guys were good. I mean, I've seen that match on TV. It was kind of cool to be on. That was one of the first times we were on TV. A local independent TV.
Huh. How did you end up working for Victor Cunas? I know you did IWA Puerto Rico.
Oh yeah, that man. Well,
it was a junior tournament, I believe.
Yeah, and that was when I lost the belt over there?
Yeah, I think so.
Because I went to Japan for him like that first time as Willow. Because I had this demo tape that I was sending. Willow demo tape was like pretty crazy, man. It was like, man, it was more than just wrestling. Like it was walks through the woods, man, and then like poetry type stuff. It was pretty strange, but there was one. I think the reason he liked me, man, is because there's this one scene in this music video I made of this song, man, where I'm like. It kind of looks like a drag queen gimmick, but it's a gimmick. It's a Willow video, but it shows me sitting like naked, like Brian Pillman was sitting like it. That's the reason I did it, because it was back when Brian Pillman did them ECW Pro. Those things were so cool.
Oh, they were great vignettes.
Oh man!
Yeah.
And there was one when he was sitting naked, or a lot of times naked, and I was sitting just like that with some on my face and everything, and the pictures of him. I think you know what I'm saying.
Right.
And I think that he might have liked that, because he would always joke about it, and he kind of creeped me out. But I went over there by myself, man. That was great for me, dude. I mean, just getting out there on my own, and man, 'cause that was pretty big. That was my first time overseas, like, and I remember waking up and looking out the window of that plane, man. I was like, oh my God, where am I? I'm by myself, and I'm about to get out here on this airport in Japan. I'm by myself. But that was a great experience, man. Great experience. Matt's in Japan right now? So those shows should be awesome.
As far as Japan, when you got over there, what was the working conditions like, and as far as the style, how did that compare to working in the States, and how did you adjust to it?
It was, I'd seen tapes, man, and I'd seen how at the time, like, it was so quiet in the ring, man. It was so weird, man. Like, because you know how they would. It used to, and now it's kind of like been revolutionized. Because the last time I was over there with WWE, man, they were like our American fans throwing, like real rowdy. But yeah, that was so weird. It was so quiet, like that. It was that applause gimmick, and it was cool. It was real cool. I mean, I was in Japan, man. Gee whiz, man. I won that. What belt was that? The IWA?
Yes.
Yeah, but I won that belt, and I was like, man, this is big, because my dad was yeah, Jeffrey, I'm sure he was not around camera telling all the farm. Yeah, he's over in Japan wrestling in damn China. He's going to win a belt over there. And he was proud of that, man, because when you got a belt, it looks cool on you, and you're known as a champion. And that was a big deal for me, man. That's something that I did before Matt did, it was great.
Was it hard working the style, the Japanese style, or were you?
No, the two guys I worked, man, I worked 2 shows with them, man. It was great. I was able. I mean, I pretty much worked out with them at their school or whatever, and like, pretty much it was. I put together the whole match. I mean, and that's pretty cool, man. And they were so respectful, man, as you could imagine. They were so respectful.
You also worked for Victor down in Puerto Rico. I think you did the junior tournament. I know a lot of guys were there, like Super Crazy, I think, was down there. Tajiri, Christopher Daniels.
I worked Super Crazy. I think. And that's the main reason I went, was to drop that title, because he wanted to get it, because we were just starting WWF TV or something, and he wanted to get it off me on to somebody else. So yeah, Puerto Rico was kind of cool, man. I walked down to the beach, I was kind of scared that, man, somebody might be out, some ghost or wolves or murderers or something.
Or down in San Juan?
Yeah, because I always heard that, no, you don't walk to the beach at night. But it was pretty cool. I know the fans were crazy. They would beat on the bands and all that. Was nuts.
A different style down there. I think it's real. So.
Yeah, it was hot and just damn rough, man. Everything was. God, they hit real hard and everything.
Wallop, I've just been hit by my car insurance. So I hunt around for a better deal. But what can I expect for my money? Travelling abroad, sir? That's extra. Courtesy car? Oh, we don't do those.
Oh, but you do get a complimentary tax disc holder.
With Prue, the only surprise is that you get free green flag breakdown cover, with recovery and home call-out included.
Oh, I'll do it now.
Call 0800 0327 479 or visit prue.co.uk.
Cold sores? I hate how they feel and look. When I feel one, I want it gone. Fast.
Think fast. Think Zavarax. It starts to work immediately. Nothing fights the virus faster.
So I'm my real self again. Fast.
Think fast. Think Zavarax.
It's amazing how many stains kids get. It's impossible to keep their whites white. They're often only fit for the bin.
All you need is 1 scoop of new Vanish Oxy Action Crystal White in every wash. There's no need to throw that out now. Let me show you what it's doing in your machine. It can remove all these tough stains and makes your whites crystal white.
For shirts, socks, bedding and towels.
Ooh.
New Vanish Oxy Action Crystal White. Laundry product of the year 2007.
He used to sweat so much that he could keep 2 fish alive. And that is why the people loved him.
How does it feel to be loved so much by your people?
Well, I feel very moved, but...
antiperspirant.
Migraine is not just a headache. A chemical imbalance in the brain induces headache, nausea, and sensitivity to light and sound. Immigram Recovery is the only treatment that tackles both the symptoms and the root cause of the migraine itself, helping to restore the chemical imbalance back to normal. Immigram Recovery, a positive way out of migraine.
Donne, nuovi Bertolli, nuovi Bertolli!
3 new Bertolli pasta sauces made with natural ingredients.
Homeowners of Britain, now really is the time to challenge Churchill. Yes, challenge Churchill. If we can't beat your combined home renewal, we'll give you £75 if you switch.
You'll give me £75 cash back? Really?
Oh, yes.
Can I really make a claim without filling in any forms?
Oh, yes. Come on, Britain, keep challenging Churchill. We're so confident in our prices that if we can't beat your renewal, we'll give you £75 if you switch. Oh, yes.
Now, how did you get into WWF? I guess I know you were in there early on, but how did you get your main job when you first started with the company?
Let's see. We did jobs for like 3 or 4 years, I think, before they finally did say, "Hey, these guys got some potential." Bruce Pritchard was the one to inform us that we were going to get offered developmental deals.
Right.
In our book, you know, there's a lot of good little stories in there about all that stuff. And man, Jason and I think Marty was with us at that on that trip, and I remember it was so hard to come back because we had all, you know, that's what we dreamed, man. We were this time, well, man, what if we get signed this time? But so, you know, when we weren't thinking about who we might work that night or day or whatever, like we'd be like, man, what if we got signed, dude? And whenever me and Matt got signed, it was like, man, it was hard to tell them because it was hard to swallow for them, which, man. But we were like, oh God, this is crazy. But I think that's what got us hired, man. Basically, it's always damn. It was pretty obvious that we were giving our lives to each match we did, man, and we loved the business and we wanted it.
Now, before you actually went there, I think it was you actually worked ECW Super 8 tournament in '99.
So, oh, is that
Jim Kettner?
Yeah, Jim Kettner. I wrestled Crowbar. What's his name?
Devin Storm.
Devin Storm. Yeah. I think I got eliminated the first match.
Any memories that stand out from that show, or?
You know what? The first thing that pops in my mind, man. And, I mean, is that kid that I think he died. Like, did he have cancer?
Yeah.
Man, he was what an inspiration, man. Like he was just meeting people like that, and man, seeing the love for the business, for wrestling in their eyes, man. But then, man, that's awesome, man. And it makes you really, appreciate what you have. That just popped in my mind. That's the first thing I think about when I think about it. I could care less about who won the tournament or whatever. It's just like seeing him enjoy it, wrestling. Because, man, I remember what he was wearing was crazy, and he was diving around.
Right.
Going off, and he was respectful of me, and I've never, felt like I'm some big star, and I've always felt like I've never felt like I've been, upgraded to some superstar level, man. And he was just so inspirational. So was that Tenacious D, and that's pretty impressive to hop the ropes, and that's real impressive.
Paul Heyman, did you ever talk to him about coming to ECW? Because ECW was around back then before he went over to WWF.
You think he'll see this? He'll probably end up seeing this.
I don't know. You can say what you want on
You know
Paul.
what, Paul? You might have ruined my career, man. You pinned me at this one match we had. You remember that pay-per-view? And I was a huge ECW fan, man. And I mean, God, I could have cared less. Man, a lot of people that night. I don't remember which pay-per-view it was.
Right.
Do you remember when?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It was him and Brock, and a lot of people. God, I can't help but feel like a lot of people were thinking, man, I can't believe he beat you, man. That's gonna ruin you. He makes you look weak. But man, I mean, that's never the case. I think it's cool, man. I mean, he's never done anything wrong with me, and he's always been real respectful, and I respect him for God doing what he did with ECW. I mean, that's a pretty impressive feat to get where he got.
Did you ever have any dealings with Paul beforehand, as far as when he was in ECW? Did you ever find? Oh, okay, that's
Sandman called me I sent the Willow tape to Bill Alfonso, I think.
Right.
And he called me all drunk one night. Yo, is this Willow? This is Bill Alfonso and Sandman. Yeah, kid, we like your tape. What is that mask you wear? That's a funny gimmick. We like it. We want to get you up here. But that led to Matt being involved and Jason, and when the time came for us to come to Philadelphia, we came to Soul City Wrestling.
Oh God.
And I mean, it had nothing to do with ECW.
Right.
I guess Heyman at the time was having a little falling out with Paul, but the whole time he talked like it was ECW. And he had the big international dream that he was going to do this big tour, and that's what it was all about. It was our tryout match for that, and I'll never forget him saying, "It's this sentence: y'all go out there, do you mean no punching, no kicking, because you're punching and kicking." And so he didn't want to punch or kick in our tryout match here, and I wrestled Matt, and Matt about broke his neck, man, because we did that little inverted like sunset flip spot, and he landed right on his head.
That's for Soul City?
Yeah, that was from Soul City, man. God almighty, man. Yeah, and it wasn't even for ECW, but that's the closest I think we came to ECW. That would have been interesting to see us, what would have happened in ECW if we would have ever did that before we did this.
Any talks with WCW ever?
No, the closest we got to that was other than like going to a WCW show and waiting out back for something to happen.
Right.
Like when wrestlers were coming to the cars or something. Matt was on that, they had some kind of challenge where you send in little demo tapes of the interviews, and he was on that one night as doing his high voltage gimmick. You stupid, sorry, sniveling, silly. He was doing his Michael Hayes gimmick. You must have just stepped out of a coma or something like that. But he was on TV, and that's pretty cool. But he never got caught.
Is it true you lied about your age ever when you first got into the business?
Yeah, the stallion made me, man. He basically held a gun to my head and said, "You tell them you're 18 years old and your daddy wrote you a letter." No, but he did, and he told me to tell. I was 16 when I did that. And now it's nothing but a laugh, man. Like when JR finally, I'll never forget when JR finally first heard it. Like, God, he was just like, "Oh my God, damn, that's something else." But God, I was scared half to death. I mean, lying about my age, and I remember, God, last thing I want to do is lie. I've already got the beat out of me by Scott Hall. And now, I mean, what if they find out that I'm only 16? I mean, God, my bridges are burned. They didn't work. It's great that it worked out like it did.
When you first got into WWE, did they send you anywhere as far as more training?
I don't know when we went to them 2 camps. I don't know at what point we went to them, but it was like after we had signed. I think that was the first thing we did because it was a while before we got on TV.
Was it Dory's camps?
Yeah, it was when Dory was around. I think they did like 8 of them maybe or something. But Edge was in them like early on, and Kurt Angle was in them with us, man. We were in Kurt's first one, which was our second one, I think. So that was pretty cool. That was a hell of a learning experience. We'd go to San Francisco for a week, man, and just, oh my God, it was brutal, boy.
As far as
bump,
yeah.
I remember being so sore, man. I did that reverse 450 one night, and I was just so drained, knocked myself out, man. But yeah, it was a great learning experience, mainly for the technical stuff, because I needed it. I know that, like, because I was so scared, like when we'd have to run through like all these different scientific holds and stuff, and like, but I learned a lot, and I did it pretty good, man.
Did anybody try to work exceptionally stiff with you at all because you were smaller than them, or besides Scott Hall?
It always felt like it, man. It always felt like this is how I always felt that the other guy was thinking, man, you little puny punk, you don't need to be in here, and they would just beat the hell out. But you got to prove to them that you can take a beating. That's one of the first things that you got to be able to put up with some pain to be able to be a wrestler, man. And that's you get respect from people like that, man. And it's so good to see wrestling with all shapes and sizes now, compared to like just back in the days when if you weren't 250 pounds, you weren't gonna be a wrestler. So it's great to see like Tenacious D coming in and like drop kicking Big Show.
I guess at what point did they actually sign you to contracts?
I think it was June of man, I think 99 or 2000. I'm going to say. It seems like it was June of 99 or 2000.
Did they make you any promises at the time?
No, because the developmental at the time was just like a 3-year or a 2-year developmental or something. But before that was even over, we ended up signing, more our full-time thing or whatever, which was a 5-year deal, 3-year negotiable or whatever. That shit's so crazy in writing, man. It's so like it's one-sided and weird, man. But yeah, it was like a year and a half, I think, into that developmental when we got our full-time contracts.
What did you think of their ideas for your gimmick, your first gimmick, I guess?
Like as a Hardy Boys?
Yeah.
I think, Matt was making our tights, that was it was pretty neat that a guy, was sewing, and he had a natural talent for making tights, and naturally they got attention because, they were always wild and looking upright. But I think it was Russo's idea to like make us over, man. Whenever we first got with Michael Hayes, because he came into the building with me and said, "Y'all, I'm gonna be with y'all. We gotta go get some clothes, because your look's gonna change." And Russo had said he wants to see hair in the face and like something different on our bodies or whatever.
I was going to ask you, what did you think when they put Michael with you as your manager?
Oh man, it was great, man. We knew we was about to get our chance, man, and that chance, I mean, was mainly being on Raw at the time. Well, if you got on Raw, you were on the show. I mean, that was the show. And man, we went to the mall, man, and bought them kickwear pants, and I felt so weird and so kind of embarrassed. But man, like, and now I can imagine, you know, wrestling anything else. And after going to some indie shows and seeing how it's called on with like other kids like wearing baggy pants, kind of, because I think that's kind of become known as Hardy Boy pants. Like, I don't know, he's wearing some Hardy Boy pants, man. Like, because that was kind of new at the time. You know?
Right. As far as Michael Hayes, you said you're a big fan of Michael.
But yeah, Freebirds, man. I love the Freebirds. Him and Jimmy Garvin mainly is what I saw, and like I said, you know, there was something between us, man. We had some kind of bond, and he was always so cool, and he helped us out a lot. And man, he was like reborn, like when he was on the road with us. It was so cool to see that, man. To be fans of him, and like, God, but after each show, the way he was wide open, drinking and pissing on me and everything, man, it was crazy. But that really showed us like respect, and like, God, Almighty, you'd like to be alive. I mean, how were you when you were 21, man? Back in the early days. But he's a great man. His mind, man, it's wrestling, man.
What did he actually teach you as far as, like, you know?
Psychology. I would say psychology, man. The basic skeleton of a match. But I mean, regardless, I think everybody's going to kind of have their own form of that once they learn so much. And like, I know I do, and mine's like, mine gets it don't even get attention sometimes, like with presentation of spots or something, like, of what I think is kind of cool and kind of makes sense. And man, it's like people just hear something they think might not be possible, and he's crazy, dude. That you don't break your neck. To where I don't see it as that dangerous or whatever, you know. But anyway, I think each wrestler that gets to the point, they get to a point where they have their own kind of style naturally and their own psychology. It's not just one set weighted to do a match, I don't think. And as far as making sense and everything, I mean, I think there's one thing. I mean, as long as it grows, and you know, I don't see nothing wrong with every now and then just switching it up and you know, swerving people, like doing something big at first, and then you can do anything as far as psychology goes. I don't know if there's one set psychology. I don't think there is. I think there's so many different styles, and I think it'd be boring if there was just one and everybody was the same. But that's
Now there's a car insurer you'll really love. LV. You'll love our UK call centre. You'll love our no claims discount that could reach up to 75%. And you'll love that you could save yourself a few quid too. Isn't it time you got a little bit more LV in your life? Call now on 0800 127 127. Or simply visit lv.com and you could start saving on your car insurance now.
Nice new drill, Steve. Quality is that?
Yeah. You won't believe the price I got it for either. Yeah, I didn't notice you popping out for all that kit, John.
That's because I had it delivered. Only ordered it last night at 5 to 6.
What are you reading, Nick?
The new Screwfix Direct catalogue is the tradesman's secret that's too good to share. Call 0800 68 78 88 now for your free copy.
Cold sores? I hate how they feel and look. When I feel one, I want it gone. Fast.
Think fast. Think Zavarax. It starts to work immediately. Nothing fights the virus faster.
So I'm my real self again. Fast.
Think fast. Think Zavarax.
Indulge your washing. New Surf with essential oils.
He used to sweat so much that he could keep 2 fish alive. And that is why the people loved him.
How does it feel to be loved so much by your people?
Well, I feel very moved, but...
Link's Dry. It's more than a deodorant. It's an antiperspirant.
Donne, nuovi Bertolli, nuovi Bertolli!
3 new Bertolli pasta sauces made with natural ingredients.
2 men, 1 cage, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. BWP presents Cage Rage Contenders Dynamite, the biggest, the baddest mixed martial arts event ever. 12 action-packed mixed martial arts bouts, National Stadium. Tickets on sale now.
Did any of the road agents ever tell you to tone your style down as far as taking crazy bumps and stuff like that?
Man, I see a lot of that, like on the internet and everything about, yeah, Jeff was mad, he didn't get to work his style. That, man, that's not really, I mean, a little bit, yeah, they did. They would say, like, no way, and they would always, I would have to clear stuff with them a lot. I'd be jumping off a ladder or whatever. But a lot of times they would have the ideas, man, ask me if I could do it. So I wouldn't say that. We've toned ourselves down, man, over time, man, because you basically have to, man. I mean, because it's a change, man, when you go from wrestling like 2 times a month to wrestling, you know, God almighty, 4 times a week. Man, it is mind-blowing of how your body starts to feel, and just the job is just, man, you're flying every morning. It's pretty crazy, man.
I'm definitely going to ask you about that too later on. Okay. What are your memories of the tag match you had against Rob Van Dam and Sabu when they came in?
Was that in that little bar in Greenville?
I think so.
It was pretty. This is a pretty funny story, man. Did you read our book?
No, I didn't read it out.
Yeah, man, I wouldn't read it. Man.
I do want to read it.
But Sabu was like scarred up, right?
Right.
And I love Sabu, man. He was like the man, but at the same time he was kind of a maniac too. I didn't know how he really was. And we talked about some. They kind of got there late, I think, and they were selling the hell out of some gimmicks, so we didn't get to talk that much about a match. So we basically went out there and shot and just called it out there. Me and Sabu we're fighting out in the crowd, and Matt and RVD are doing moonsaults off a pool table or something. This is the ECU, this is like a party school. Like these young punks are out there all, man, they're crazy. Me and Sabu getting there some glass, and I'm going, oh God, it's gonna cut me. Because, man, I'm sitting here, I'm seeing all these scars, I'm seeing that armband, and I always thought that was real cool, and oh man. Then that glass, and this is what he says, glass, let's get out of here. And that was so awesome, man. Oh, wow. This isn't a huge show anymore. Maybe he's not like that anymore. The scars are just like past experiences or something, man. He's cool.
He also worked Rob, I guess, in Raw when WWE allowed ECW wrestlers to come in.
Yeah, was that one, Mr. Monday Night?
Yes.
Yeah, man, I did the job. I always did the job to Rob. Always did the job to Rob. Nah, but man, as far as our psychology and match, man, I love Rob Van Dam, man. He's awesome, and I love working him, man. He's probably my, aside from like all his TLC matches and like Agent Christian, I mean, those are great matches, but man, single wise, man, I'd work RVD like every day, man. That'd be great, and he's a cool dude, man. We have a lot in common. And RVD, if you ever see this, man, thank you for letting me do the job, man. Every time, man. Like, it was, 6 times now, dog? Oh, man. I know you're going to put me over one day. It's going to be one of the pins, like, where I just put my foot on your chest, too, and say, rah. No, I'm just kidding, man. But I hope you put me over one day, man, because we've had some good matches. And I love the matches we've had.
Memories of you guys winning the tag titles, I guess, for the first time against Ron Simmons.
Oh yeah, that was in Fayetteville, North Carolina, the closest arena to our homes, and our dad was there, and that was, man, I seriously, I don't think I took that belt off. I slept in it, I know, and wore it in a restaurant.
I was going to ask you about that. Is it true you wore the belts everywhere?
Man, it was so cool, man. It was the coolest, man. We did like a pre-tape, well, post-tape after the match, and I think Michael Hayes said something, because Michael Hayes had like talked for us mostly up to that point. It was when we finally got to like say a little something. And man, Vince was watching. It was the first like one Vince ever watched. I mean, I'm like, and I had real bad. I had my shit in my headlock, man. I'm going, oh God, here's Vince, man. Y'all be natural, just be natural. I didn't have to, man. I'm just trying to be good, funny. But man, he said something like, "This isn't my time to talk. The champs, let them talk." And Matt says a little mad attitude, like, and then I think I said, "Listen, this is a dream come true." Man, we got to take them home. It's your own responsibility, man. Because we weren't sure if it was like that. You know, I remember for so long, we didn't know if the guys really kept the belts or whatever. But we were the champions, dude, and we were the best in the world, man. And you really feel that when you have them titles, man. I stared at that thing, man. For as long as I had, I was, man.
Were you surprised they put the belts on you that quick? Or?
Yeah, I really didn't think they were going to do it, man. Because the week before, we had heard the possibility of it, and man, in this business, man, I do not. I have to see it to believe it, man. That's so true. I don't get excited about nothing the way things change, especially on TV in this business. I didn't think it was going to happen, man. When then they followed through with it, that was a really like comforting foundation, like as far as our stay there. Like we were like, man, maybe now we're wanted here, and the acolytes put us over, and that's pretty big. Bradshaw, for the longest time, would come in, you know, saying hello to everybody's a big deal. We'd say, hey, Bradshaw, what's going on? He'd say, go to hell. I'm just mean as hell, man. He did that for so long.
He was shooting, or was he ribbing you guys?
I know he was. I mean, pretty. I guess testing us too in a way, but honestly, I would say, hey, Mr. Bradshaw, go to hell. Get away from here. And I would just have to pull my hand and walk away. They were mean. I mean, they would take our bags a couple times, man. But you know, you got to put up with that, man, and stay cool.
Basically touching you.
Yeah, it could be a lot worse, man. It could be a lot worse.
Did WWE office ever tell you to slow down, or did they keep on wanting you to go the same pace?
Some of the agents, I mean, they would just, like, and slowing down naturally means like, whoa, chill out. Now you're trying to, man, house shows became practice to me, man. And at first, it's hard to, you know, you want to do, I mean, you're in the WWF and you're in front of all these people, and compared to wrestling in front of 200 people in an armory, man, it's awesome. But that gets to the point where, man, house shows are practice, man, and TV is the show. That's when you go all out. That's when you make contact. And but nobody separate, like no Asian or nothing's really. They just, if there's a spot that they think's crazy and they think might be dangerous, they put the shutdown on it.
Memories of your cage match in Philadelphia, I guess, was you guys against Edge and Christian, and you guys beat them for the tag titles.
That was a match that was on our video, I believe, and that, man, we thought that was a really good cage match. It kind of was forgotten, man, and like, because I thought that was, the layout of that was really good with me getting knocked out. Is that the
I think so, yeah.
And I kept trying to get back in, but like, the thing we did where, like, I think I finally got the ladder, and Edge couldn't, when he would hit the fence or whatever, he couldn't touch me, and so I was like, and he was just pushing on it, and then the fans were getting with it, and God, that, again, man, just to see these things in your head, and then for them to work, and that's the best feeling in the world. And then I did like a whisper and went off the top, and that's seeing all those people stand up, man, that's a great scene.
What were Edge and Christian like to work with?
Awesome, man. We were so, man, like we worked them on the road so much, man. They were the kind of guys we could just, we never had to talk. We would just get to the building, man, and go out there and just have a great time, man. Because we were so good together, man.
How about Bubba and Devon?
They're not quite. They're a little more like hard to work with. Cause, like they're a little more like from ECW, you know, they were naturally more like hardcore. But Bubba's just like, he's a perfectionist, and that's a perfectionist, and they really want to have it right, and they really want to make sense, and we click with them too, man. Like the three of us, man, it totally feels good to kind of feel like we did do a little something for the tag team ranks at that time, like give a little more, you know, pizzazz to it or whatever. I mean, you know, we worked good with them, man. Had some good matches.
Were you nervous doing any of the crazy dives that you did off the top of the cage in that match?
Not really, man. The cage is pretty high, but it's nothing like a ladder. Like, I'm a lot more nervous on the ladder.
Right.
That's for sure. Man, because it's wobbly. It's like kind of wobbly. The cage is pretty like, it ain't going nowhere.
WrestleMania 17. I guess you guys were told that you were going to be doing another TLC match. Yeah. What were your initial impressions?
The same kind of vibe of, oh, Dude, we're gonna have to stop this. We're ruining the wrestling business, man. People see this, they're gonna like, I mean, man, how do you continue to top this?
I was gonna, yeah.
Because that's, I mean, because you watch the matches, man, like, and God, man, you would run to a point where you can't top it. And like, that's what they're trying to get away from all of that and chill it down even more, you know, just as far as the injuries have been like crazy, you know. And, God, that match, man, it was a challenge to go out there and like top the last one. Was that the Astrodome? I think it was.
I believe so. I think it was actually.
Wallop, I've just been hit by my car insurance. So I hunt around for a better deal. But what can I expect for my money?
Travelling abroad, sir? That's extra. Courtesy car? Oh, we don't do those.
Oh, but you do get a complimentary tax disc holder.
With Prue, the only surprise is that you get free green flag breakdown cover with recovery and home call-out included.
I'll do it now.
Call 0800 0327 479 or visit prue.co.uk.
Nice new drill, Steve. Quality is that?
Yeah. You won't believe the price I got it for either. Yeah, I didn't notice you popping out for all that kit, John.
That's because I had it delivered. Only ordered it last night at 5 to 6.
What are you reading, Nick?
The new Screwfix Direct catalogue is the tradesman's secret that's too good to share. Call 0800 68 78 88 now for your free copy.
Now on DVD, witness the most brutal battle in history. Pathfinder, Extended Edition on DVD.
Cold sores? I hate how they feel and look. When I feel one, I want it gone. Fast.
Think fast. Think Zavarax. It starts to work immediately. Nothing fights the virus faster.
So I'm my real self again. Fast.
Think fast. Think Zavarax.
He used to sweat so much that he could keep 2 fish alive. And that is why the people loved him.
How does it feel to be loved so much by your people?
Well, I feel very moved, but...
Link's Dry. It's more than a deodorant. It's an antiperspirant.
Did you know the plant sterols in Flora Proactive are proven to help lower cholesterol?
Migraine is not just a headache. A chemical imbalance in the brain induces headache, nausea, and sensitivity to light and sound. Imogran Recovery is the only treatment that tackles both the symptoms and the root cause of the migraine itself, helping to restore the chemical imbalance back to normal. Imogran Recovery, a positive way out of migraine.
Donne, nuovi Bertolli, nuovi Bertolli!
3 new Bertolli pasta sauces made with natural ingredients.
New Surf with essential oils of lavender and oriental blossom.
Who actually thought of most of the spots for the TLC matches?
I think mostly, probably Edge and Christian and everybody involved in the match. Bubba and Devon and myself and Matt. Everybody. There was some great teamwork and great like meetings there, like discuss even prior to the pay-per-views, like weeks before. Not weeks before, God, because sometimes they let us know the day before. But like whenever we find out, we were real good about getting together and having some stuff ready.
Did you sustain any injuries from that match?
From Houston, yeah, I did. I think it wasn't nothing real bad though. I tried to walk across like, man, this I think we'll call it a progress spot. But it's where 3 ladders are like. I tried to walk across them, and if it would have went right, I was going to make it out to the belts and be kind of swatting at it. But then somebody pushed the ladder out from under me, but I ended up not making it because the second ladder fell out from under me. And man, I broke, oh my God, I'll never forget the scene of climbing up on that ladder, looking and seeing the 2 ladders like it. Oh my God, can I make it? You know, you pretty much think, no, you gotta go. Damn, boy, that thing fell out. That was one of the spots that was mine. And it took me a pretty good while to persuade somebody when to use it, like the other guys and the agent, because of the after it was over, like, oh man, it looked real, you know, it looked good, man. So it was all right.
How banged up were you at this point in your career?
I was actually feeling pretty good at that point, man. I healed up pretty good. Because after that WrestleMania match, I think is when it really set in that I had to slow down, man. The WrestleMania match from, you know, California.
Right. Memories of your short feud with Steve Austin and Triple H?
Oh, man, that was awesome. That was cool, and I think it's ridiculous that didn't go anywhere else, because, man.
That was a great match.
Oh, dude, it was awesome, and we can't help but feel like they were just using their power as mainstream, which to, I don't know why, or because, I mean, if the fans are liking it, I mean, why not roll with it? But, yeah, that's something I'll never understand. Like, it's like trying to figure out the stars, man. What the why don't you want to do some more matches like this, Triple H? I mean, come on, and Austin, I don't know, man. I really wish that would have went farther, and so does Matt, and if it would have, it would have been good, but it did.
Were you able to ever go confront Vince and talk to him on a business level, or one of the agents, and ask him like why, you know, that never went as far as it went? Or?
No, I didn't. I think Matt probably, you know, wanted to, and God, I mean, at this point, like if I do return, like, you know, that'd be something because that kind of pissed us both off. It was one of those things where like, what is going on here, man? Why can't we? Because, man, that was good. It makes you feel like they think you're not good enough or something, you know. There was one chair shot I remember, man, and it was cool. Like, you know, Steve Austin busted me up, and both times he hit me with a chair during that feud. Or whatever. Man, I remember it just collapsed, and it was so cool looking. But, you know, it didn't happen.
Were you surprised they put you over Triple H? And I think you only held the title, the IC title for like a week.
Man. Oh, yeah. I was very surprised when I walked up there and they told me they were doing it, and I was like, oh, you are? Oh, I mean, they got no champion. Oh, and Matt was crying probably somewhere, you know. And he still hadn't, I've still got that on him, you know, being Intercontinental champion. But, man, that was pretty cool, man. I mean, Triple H, that's one thing about Triple H is like, he loves wrestling, dude. It's his life, man. And God, him to put me over was just very, you know, I was very thankful. And very thankful that I had a chance to go down in the history books. That's the Backtrack. If it had been for a minute, it would have been just as good to me. Just as long as I got in the books, you know. Well, a night, because I had to take it home and sleep with it like one night, you know.
Backtracking to your brother and you, did you guys ever have a rivalry? Like as far as a jealousy or anything like that?
Yeah, he's always been jealous of me, man. Like, because I'm a lot better than him, like wrestling. But he does love it more than he loves life, and to where I love it, but I don't love it more than I love life. But I do love it, and I'm feeling that more now. I mean, because, man, I've worked my ass off at home. I get all these crazy ideas in my head and these projects because I'm into motocross too, I'm sure. And music's been a big thing. I've been kind of wanting to try with the world, see how it does. But, I mean, I think it's, JR thinks, you know, God, or, you know, him, big man up there. He put me here to wrestle, and, you know, I know I'm good at it, I know when I want to be. But Matt, yeah, he's always been jealous of me, man. That's what's created my attitude. It's basically arrogance. And I think he's kind of got a big ego, and he needs to walk to Brooklyn or something. From, like, wherever Pump Daddy making the kids walk.
Triple H, what was he like to work with, as far as a professional and stuff like that?
He was very, man, I couldn't really present anything. I basically just, I would say something, but it'd be something like, oh, I kind of guess that, like, where I scoop your legs, maybe, and not do this later. But I was I was kind of scared to even present anything. I just basically listened to what he would put together, because he knew what I could do, and like I've been like that, you know. After so many spots, would get our match ideas, layouts would get kind of shut down, and after a while it gets kind of okay, just whatever you want to do, man. I mean, I'm good to go, or whatever.
Right. Does he have a lot of power, or?
I think so. Yeah, I mean, he's dating Stephanie, right?
Right.
And that would mean probably something's going on, you know, in the bedroom. Like, I mean, couples do that.
Obviously.
And it might lead to a marriage, and like he might own that company one day. I think he would be great. I mean, just you got to be dedicated to him, man. And he's dedicated. And he said before, like, I went to an MRI, like not MRI, but that place he was in rehabilitation one time, and he said, I plan to make a lot of money with you one day, because I was going to get some, like, I went to get an X-ray done or something. He said, I plan to make a lot of money with you one day. So that pretty much told her, yeah, he's going to pretty much be the man, be the owner. Like, it'd be interesting to see if something happened to Vince McMahon and what would happen, like as far as who would step in, and you know that lead position.
Right. You don't think it would be Shane?
That's what I was about to say, man. Because Shane hadn't been around as of late is the reason I'm kind of weird about that. Because he used to be at all TVs, and I don't know what he's been doing. But I guess he's just been in the office. Probably would be Shane though.
Did you think you were gonna get a big singles push during the feud with Triple H?
Yeah, I thought it would be more than it was. I think just for the fact that it was the Intercontinental Championship belt, and I did like that older belt better than that new one. I wanted to get that in there. The one you remember the style before that new belt? Like the one, the Ultimate Warrior, have all the different colors.
Yeah.
It's a cool design. But anyway, like I thought it would, but in a way it was kind of a relief because it was hard to feel confident, man. Like in there, I've always felt small, like in there with naturally with Triple H, and like maybe I'm not that deserving of this belt, but I thought it would get farther than it did.
Do you think anyone ever tried to hold you back?
No, but I think at that point the tag team stuff was still kind of holding me back because I think that would have been a really good time for me to excel, like in singles like stuff, because I would have been a lot more, you know, into it. But Amy and Matt, or Lita and Matt, were like so into the Team Extreme thing, which was a good thing. And I mean, I was totally into that too. But I was kind of pulled two ways there, and that was always the cool thing with the Hardy Boys. We could do our singles matches and have to still be the Hardy Boys and have tag matches. But yeah, that was kind of hard trying to do both at that point.
What was Steve Austin like to work with?
Oh, he was great, man. He was very full contact, man. You know, he don't play around. He's hard when it comes to matches, when it comes to wrestling. He loves it too as much as he loves life. And he's a serious player, but he's no joke.
We talked a little bit about RVD earlier on. Has he changed over time when you faced him, you know, back then, and you faced him again more recently?
You know what? It don't seem like he has, man. Because he's always like matches we've had. It's pretty much the majority of the putting together part is him. I would say, as far as I just like present some of the weird spots that end up working out, like because I really enjoy like discussing matches with him because we have a similar taste for what a match is going to look like and whatnot. So he's pretty much the same as him.
We did a shoot interview, I guess, with Perry Saturn, and he said when you guys would work the Radicals, he just hated working you guys because Matt would always script out matches ahead of time or something like that and get approval from the agents to do spots without any of their input. What would you say to that?
Man, Perry, what's up, dude? How you doing, man? I just want to say before I answer that, if you ever see this, man, you remember that house show we did and you set me up like you're going to back suplex me off the top rope and you asked me, bro, can you do a moonsault? And I said, yeah, and I knew I wasn't that great at hitting moonsaults. Like I could do a pretty one, but I didn't know where I never knew where I was on the backflip. Man, and then he said, can you hit me with a moonsault? I said, yeah. So I elbowed him off and he took a bump. I went back all graceful and did a moonsault at the canvas, brother. And nothing hit him, man. And he was like, oh, I thought you could do a moonsault. So then he got up from the walls of Saturn and stretched me. Now, Perry, what did you ask about Perry?
No, I was going to ask, we did an interview with him and he said he just didn't like working you guys because Matt would script out the matches ahead of time and go up to the road agents before he would, you know, go to you guys and stuff like that.
Oh, and he would call out Matt on that?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that might be right, but I don't know about, is that pretty much saying that he liked to kind of go out there and like just do it?
Yeah, he just
he
just didn't like working you guys for that reason.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy, man. I mean, we did work on the road a lot, man, but I think, I remember like Matt and him, it seems like that they kind of had they didn't really agree on the exact same thing. To where me, I've always been Mr. Whatever.
Why did Matt ask for an original split with the Hardy Boys?
I don't know that he did. I mean, because I think he was the one that tried to like keep it together for the longest time until the draft. I mean, that draft probably got us. Well, it didn't get us at the time of the draft, but we knew that something was going to happen soon after that.
Why do you think it didn't work as far as the original split with you guys?
Is that when we were fighting each other?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, people kind of like brothers fight in real life, right?
Right.
And naturally, that they're going to fight pretty vicious. And I mean, I was always kind of into that, and I thought people would enjoy it, and I still think people enjoy seeing it, but people didn't really, because Matt would always say people didn't want to see it, and that's true, they didn't. They wanted to see Team Extreme out there, and because Lita was always, oh no, she was torn between both opinions or whatever, and the people just didn't want to see it, and it just didn't work.
Why did WWE take yourself, Matt, and Lita off TV for a few weeks? I think it was like late 2001. What exactly happened with you guys?
That was when we were going. That was around the time when they wanted us to do that pre-tape, like where I kissed Lita, just kind of out of the blue, just out of I think she's a female, I'm a male. I couldn't help myself. I was so horny. My brother's girlfriend. I had to kiss. It was so crazy, and we felt that it was just a test. It was just testing us again, just to see what we were doing. And up to that point, I had never said no to nothing, but I had to tell Stephanie, man, no, I will not do it. I'm not going to do it. And then fire me. I was Mr. But yeah, I had to tell her that I will not do it. And that's why we were off.
How did you get taken off TV? Who told you guys?
Michael, I think. Michael Hayes informed us. And I think it was something effective off I think we're off the house. We still came to TV, it seems like. We were just off the house shows, and that was kind of strange. Because we'd been on house shows for a while.
Right. Now, did they bring you back? Obviously, they brought you back, but at like what point? How long did it take?
It was a month, it seems like. I think it was about a month.
I'm Michael Winner, and I'm talking to real eSure customers.
Every year I check online, and I can never find a cheaper quote than eSure.
I buy my car insurance online. I found it very easy to navigate the website. I go there again. I'd recommend it to anybody.
I buy my car insurance online, and the website's really easy to use. You can select your own levels of cover.
Calm down, dear. If you've got 4 or more years no claims, call eSure now on 0800 030 4445 or visit esure.com.
I love the 60s.
Swinging London, changing London. John, Paul, George and Ringo.
It was such a special time.
It's one small step for man.
But nothing stays the same. Sadly, we all lose someone close to us. You can't prepare for the grief, but there is a way you can ease the money worries of those left behind. The 50-plus plan from LV can provide a guaranteed cash lump sum to help towards things like funeral expenses and unpaid bills. It costs from £8 a month, and with LV there's no medical or health questions, so you're guaranteed to be accepted. And there's a free gift when your plan starts. For your free information pack, call LV today on 0800 45 45 45. That's 0800 45 45 45.
Cold sores? I hate how they feel and look. When I feel one, I want it gone. Fast.
Think fast. Think Zavarax. It starts to work immediately. Nothing fights the virus faster.
So I'm my real self again. Fast.
Think fast. Think Zavarax.
When a sore throat makes you fade into the background, you need Strepsils. Strepsils not only soothes pain fast, so you can feel like yourself again, but also contains active ingredients that keep on working, working, and working even after the lozenge has gone. Strepsils, first aid for sore throats.
Got heartburn, indigestion? Now there's new Gaviscon Double Action, our best ever formulation to soothe the burning pain of heartburn and neutralise excess acid. For relief you can really feel. New Gaviscon Double Action. What a feeling.
Migraine is not just a headache. A chemical imbalance in the brain induces headache, nausea and sensitivity to light and sound. Imogran Recovery is the only treatment that tackles both the symptoms and the root cause of the migraine itself, helping to restore the chemical imbalance back to normal. Imogran Recovery, a positive way out of migraine.
Or like the locker room politics at this point?
Wrestler's court would still take place, man.
I was going to ask you about that. What
pretty creepy.
What happened when the Hardys appeared in Wrestler's court?
It was mainly Michael's. Michael was mainly at fault for that because it was a first class situation on the airplane, And we knew, I mean, I almost got up and like went back and just out of the blue, but like this is what happened, man. Glenn and D-Lo's seat it was, I think, in first class, and we were sitting there because Michael had it up there or something. And something happened, they were late, I don't know what. But anyway, Glenn, they said, oh, we don't, no, y'all sit here, y'all sit here. They pretty much made us sit there because they knew that something, a court was going to come out of this, but it would mainly be directed to Michael because Michael's the one said, yeah, we on the road again, same places like I've never seen again. Michael Hayes was like living his dream again, boy, and he was first class all the way, first name free, last name Bud, and basically he brought some beer in there, man, and settled it out of court. It was it. Like, I think we might have to bring the acolytes bags in or something a couple times, but you know, not much.
What did you think when you first heard about the brand extension with SmackDown and Raw?
That was like, it was weird. I said, this is going to be weird, man. This is like, so this is new. I mean, for the whole, this is kind of, it's going to be real weird. It's like a real sport here or something. I felt like I was in an NFL draft or something. Like, and I was just getting out of college. Like, I'd had a match on that show, and I was a lightweight champion at the time, I think, or something. But it was weird because we did not know, man. They didn't tell us what was going to happen. So, I mean, we didn't know who it was going to be. That was so, and that was real, man. I mean, we had no idea, man. They didn't tell us, and they just wanted to keep it real, man. So we didn't know if, like, they were going to say, SmackDown, Jeff Hardy, and then that was going to be it. We were going to be broke up, or Lita was going to get it. But we didn't know, man. Until then, after the show, we've seen it, like, they put up some, after the show went off there, some, the rest of the list, because they didn't do the whole thing, like, on there. How did you feel about it when you found out that you and Matt were being split? I think, we stayed together at the draft, didn't we?
I think so, but eventually you guys, I think.
I think both of us thought it was time, man. We thought it was time, and this was in the early stages of me, like, looking for my passion again, and just really feeling burnt out, and like, not sure if I really wanted to do it and all that. And like, Matt was, it was great for, as shown for Matt too. He's doing really good, and I think it was great for him. And it was great because a lot of people like said he wouldn't do good, blah blah. But yeah, he's done great.
Did you think you and Matt would do good as singles at first?
Yeah, I knew, because that was one cool thing about us as a tag team. We could always do our singles matches, and that would be cool. And we'd come back and do the tag matches. And I love that, man. And that was one cool thing about us that we could always do.
As far as the Attitude gimmick goes, what do you feel about it?
I think it's great, man. It's a great like heel character, and it's very funny, man. I think laughter's. I think if you're laughing, you're feeling good. I don't know a case where if you're laughing, you're not feeling good. So therefore, you're having a good time if you're laughing. I know that's usually a pretty good sign. And I think that comedy is a huge part of wrestling, man. Because I mean, that's a guarantee that you're making people enjoy your show. And trying to divide it up in percentages, man. I mean, it's a pretty dominant percentage, I think. But you got to have your like serious there too.
It's funny you said that because we just had the same conversation with Crash Holly, basically comedy and stuff like that.
Oh, there's a lot of it. I always joke about saying it's going to be on Comedy Central instead of TNN here pretty soon. I mean, it's like, God, it's like it can make people laugh there every time.
Do you think they're pushing Matt enough right now, or?
I think. Well, I don't know. I think they're kind of jerking him around a little bit. I think he could. I mean, I think he's moral champion material, and he's definitely been there long enough and like totally proved to them that he's dedicated and committed, and he wears these cool like dragon pants from the Orient, and he looks good. It looks great. So he should be a champion, man. I mean, it'll happen in time, I think.
Backing up just a little bit, as far as when Vince bought WCW, what was your feelings on that?
Oh, it was like seeing in my head, like, how did they used to put this? Aliens in the White House shaking hands with our president. It's something you see, but you never really expect to happen. When I seen Shane McMahon in that WCW ring, I mean, I didn't know if I was dreaming. I was like, pinch me. Man, I've got to be dreaming. This is weird looking. Because it was so crazy seeing Shannon in that ring. And man, it was like, God, we talked about that for so many times we would say, what's going to happen, man? Because, WCW at one point was so huge as far as, God, throwing money right and left, boy, big time. So yeah, it was like seeing aliens shake whatever, I don't know if they have hands, or, but greeting with our president, you know what I mean.
Jeff Hardy. It is the night after we just did that last shoot interview, right after the Ring of Honor event that Jeff was just on. And first of all, Jeff, how'd you enjoy being here in Elizabeth, New Jersey, working for Ring of Honor?
You know what? I don't know if it was considered a sold-out crowd, but I was pleased to see that crowd, man. There was a good crowd out there, and it was very interesting to see the one side, ECW type fans doing their thing, and then the other side, little girls screaming for me, no matter what happens. But I don't think I could have won either way. I just want to say that the guys I was in the ring with, man, did great. The blame's on me for screwing up, and I chanted it with them. I up, I know, and because I did, and then it was there was some energy out there, man, and it was a good experience.
Did you think that the fans gave you a fair chance tonight, or did it seem like that a certain percentage of them had it in for you?
Oh, man, well, you know what? Every time I go up to do that bow, every time I've done that in my entrance, I always go, man, I'm going to slip. And I always worry about that. And, boy, this was the perfect night to do that. And I said, oh, man, great way to kick this off. So, you fucked up. And I was like, yeah, yes, I am, man. But, and the turnbuckles were long. They were like boxing turnbuckles kind of one, and that's kind of cool because it's different. But yeah, I think they were fair because I think they would have did that if it had been a perfect match.
Did that get to you the way that the fans reacted at all?
No, it didn't faze me at all, man. I mean, I could have cared less. And it's really kind of funny, man. I just know those guys have watched TLC matches and seen the things that I've done, and it's pathetic, man, if they don't have a respect for me, from just watching them. You know what I mean? That's how I feel anyway. I don't care if I wouldn't even if I'd have said, oh God, I can't even wrestle. I'm tired. I got to leave. If I wouldn't even made it through the whole match, I mean, they should still respect what I've done, no matter what. Because I mean, I think that was the spear off the gimmicks were that was a pretty impressive memory. And I think that deserves that dude, man. He up, but everybody does. So.
Was the reaction would kind of make that you'd make a great heel here in Ring of Honor?
Oh, I would. I've been saying that, and I don't know who said it after the match, but I was like, you're right, because I helped you. And that's kind of a cool thing that the business is that's how it is now, man. It's not just saying your prayers and eating your vitamins. That's not the cool thing to do anymore. Drinking beer and raising hell, that's what's cool. And it's kind of reversed, and it's weird the way there's so many in betweeners. It's hard. I don't know what the actual face is or heel because, my attitude. My brother, for example, he's like an in-betweener kind of. It's weird because everybody knows kind of what's going on. And the funnest thing to me about the whole business is guessing what's going to happen next and what's going on in the back and what happened with this and that. I mean, that's fun, man. And it's strange, man. But it's coming back down. There's a lot of independent stuff going on, and I think that's real good.
Is having a run as a heel something that you always wanted to do?
Oh, yeah, big time. Because one of the times I spoke to Vince McMahon, I mean, this is what he said one time about us being heels because we had mentioned it to him. And he said he didn't think we could be heels. He just didn't think we could do it because we've never talked on the mic. I've especially never, got much talking time, And I mean, damn, give us a chance, to get on the mic and do something. And Matt's, ran great with it. And when he said that, I was like, God, what are you talking about, Madman Genius? Give me a chance. I mean, I can be mean, dude. I can be mean. God, I can be mean. But then I can be, hey, did you hear the girl scream for me? Oh, that was awesome. Talk as if you are the one who figured out the shape of Earth, and then you went to study other planets and to come back showing where they were. I won't give you. I'll next question.
What did you get a chance to watch anything on the Ring of Honor show? Anything stand out to you?
I remember Eddie Guerrero was I think that was one of your first shows or something, and that's what I seen we were doing the book signing at that time, and Matt had the tape, and I was like, damn, that's a cool show. That's a good show. The whole, and that first set, I think with the gimmick, at first I was like, whoa, that's pretty controversial. That's pretty shaking the hands. It's a new approach, and it's original, man. You got to be original to succeed, I feel. You should never want to do something somebody else has done. That's for sure.
How come, now I'm sure that you've gotten calls from every independent group there is and NWA TNA. How come...
Japan, everywhere.
How come you decided to work for Ring of Honor?
Because of that tape, man. I said it that night, or that day, I said, man, if something ever happens, I get fired from my dream or something, man, that might be an independent I'd be interested in working for. because I just like the vibe and I like the way it looked. And yeah, there's been a lot of people that's contacted me, man, but I've just not been interested in doing anything, any independence, and I'm still trying to find that passion to relocate, you know, that passion. To be the Jeff Hardy I once was, and I'm gonna like get my music out there soon, and that's gonna be a test that really, like, you know, it gives a timetable when I'll be back, like really back.
What's going on with your music right now?
I'm just doing a lot of solo stuff at home, and mainly in just like demo quality. I don't know how it's gonna like get out there, like as far as record label, or I don't know what's gonna happen with that. I've mainly just been enjoying time at home, I'll be honest with you. And redone my motocross track. I'm crazy. I can't get that out of my system, riding the dirt bikes. About killed myself on that a few weeks ago. That was sweet. My dad's always cussing me out. There ain't no money in that. God damn, there ain't no money in that. You gonna kill yourself, worry me to death. That's what my dad says, man. So, but it's cool for a front yard, man. And that's what I've been spending most of my time now. I know that sounds weird, but hey, that's what I've been doing.
One thing I found kind of unusual is that you decided to drive all the way up here from the Carolinas to Elizabeth, New Jersey, rather than, of course, Ring of Honor would have flown you up here if you wanted a flight. Why did you want to drive?
I'm stopping by a show tomorrow just to walk up in there and say, hey, what's going on? I don't even know where it's at, or I'm just going to stop by and see what's going on. I think AJ Styles is on it, though. I'm just going to check him out. That'd be pretty sweet to manage him or something, though. No, but I'm unusual, man. I do that kind of stuff. And I always make people wonder why, and that's me. That's my gimmick.
Okay.
Wallop, I've just been hit by my car insurance. So I hunt around for a better deal. But what can I expect for my money?
Travelling abroad, sir? That's extra. Courtesy car? Oh, we don't do those.
Oh, but you do get a complimentary tax disc holder.
With Prue, the only surprise is that you get free green flag breakdown cover with recovery and home call-out included.
Oh, I'll do it now.
Call 0800 0327 479 or visit prue.co.uk.
If you've been refused credit elsewhere, nobody tries harder than Welcome Car Finance to get you a newer car. Every year we approve thousands of people for car credit. Many of our top name cars are under 2 years old and all come with an independent quality and safety check and full MOT. Call Welcome Car Finance now and we'll give you at least £1,000 for your old car plus £250 cash back. Call Welcome Car Finance now on 0800 040 9000 or visit our website.
Nice new drill, Steve. Quality is that?
Yeah. You won't believe the price I got it for either.
Yeah, I didn't notice you popping out for all that kit, John.
That's because I had it delivered. Only ordered it last night at 5 to 6.
What are you reading, Nick?
The new Screwfix Direct catalogue is the tradesman's secret that's too good to share. Call 0800 68 78 88 now for your free copy.
Cold sores? I hate how they feel and look. When I feel one, I want it gone. Fast.
Think fast. Think Zavarax. It starts to work immediately. Nothing fights the virus faster.
So I'm my real self again. Fast.
Think fast. Think Zavarax.
Dental experts tell us that acid erosion is caused by acid in our modern diets, citrus fruits, fruit juices, diet soft drinks. Your teeth may look really healthy, but only your dentist will be able to tell you if there's thinning of the tooth enamel. There are things that you can do, so it's really important that you go and see your dentist. There is a new toothpaste on the market. Sensodyne Pronamel has been specifically formulated to help protect against the effects of acid erosion. You use just like a normal toothpaste twice a day.
Migraine is not just a headache. A chemical imbalance in the brain induces headache, nausea and sensitivity to light and sound. Imogran Recovery is the only treatment that tackles both the symptoms and the root cause of the migraine itself, helping to restore the chemical imbalance back to normal. Imogran Recovery, a positive way out of migraine.
Donne, nuovi Bertolli, nuovi Bertolli!
3 new Bertolli pasta sauces made with natural ingredients.
Did you know the plant sterols in Flora Proactive are proven to help lower cholesterol?
We are here, Cage Fire on TWC.
Cage Rage.
there anybody out there that you want to say anything about?
I would like to say something about. Ow! I read something that said Sting or enjoyed watching me and RVD, and that was great, just because I was such a fan of him in the past, and he was such a influence and role model for me. And I was a combo between the Ultimate Warrior and Sting when I was in the TWF, that trampoline that we were doing in our backyard, and that he was a big, he was a part of motivation that made me, want to do this. And I would just like to say, thank you, Sting. Ow!
Before we started, you mentioned Perry Saturn. What'd
you ask me about?
I was saying how we did an interview with Perry, and he said he didn't like working with you guys because Matt would go to the road agent and basically say that Matt would plan out all spots and he wouldn't give you
That's
Perry a
right.
chance.
And I was just like, I told him about I gave him an example of a spot that was pretty funny. Like we worked them on the road for a while, and there was a time when they would do. At that point, house shows had become practice to me, because I realized, I didn't want to kill myself at a house show, because doing it, man, just wrestling like twice a month and then going to wrestling 5 times a week, it's a huge change, and wow, house shows were practice to me, and Perry, they would want to do so many things, and he set me up on top, and he would act like he was going to German suplex me off, and he said, "Can you do a moonsault, brother?" I said, yeah. He said, I was going to elbow him off. No moonsault, and I knew that I wasn't that great at hitting moonsaults. I can do, I was graceful and everything, but man, I said, yeah, and I went to hit the moonsault, and I moonsaulted the canvas, but I didn't touch him. And he was like, "Oh God, you said you thought you could do one." And so I just told that little story, but I don't know what he's doing right now, but I think he's a good worker. I think he's got way too many tattoos, but he's a good guy, man. You got to be a little crazy to be a wrestler anyway, I do believe. And yes.
When you mentioned the house shows and how they became practice for you, was that maybe when you started losing your passion for the business a little bit, just because you were on the road so often?
It was mainly from being so beat up, man. Because when we first went on the road, I acted like it was TV, and I remember almost breaking my shoulder, man, just doing a poetry in motion, because man, we were so fired up to be doing wrestling in front of that many people every night. Man, it's a big difference from wrestling in the Armory, with 50 people there. So, but God, you just can't. You have no choice. You have to change your style if you're gonna be like that, man. The lucha libre, just the high flying stuff. You can't do it forever. It wears you out, man.
Speaking about changing styles, your brother Matt recently changed his style a lot, more away from the high risk stuff and everything. What do you think about the stuff that Matt's doing now and the style that he has now?
To me, I think he was looked at as a high flyer when we were together. But if you go back and view tapes, I was the one that did the majority of he's always been pretty simple, and I don't think he's changed that much. He just gets to talk now, and he's got some signature thing. He did 3 side effects the other night. I guess there was a great match with SmackDown. Was great, by the way, the other night, and that was something I would never see him doing in the past. 3, that would be overkill in the past discussing matches, but people like to see it now, and it's established, and it's signature stuff that you get, and you can do that every night as long as they see that they're happy, fans. And so I don't think he's never really done a lot of high flying stuff if you go back and view tapes.
You just mentioned how you thought SmackDown was a good show the other night. Is there any time in recent history when you were sitting at home watching a WWE program and you were thinking, "Damn, I'd like to be back there right now," or "Wish I was on the show"?
Yeah, man. I've been a lot of times, but I would like to get back to Raw, man. If I did go back, just because Raw has always been it's been stupid as of late, straight up stupid. But I would like to. I can't help it. I don't watch the show a lot of times because it does hurt. Because it was my dream, and I would put so much into getting there, man. And I feel I will be back, eventually, but good Lord, it does hurt sometimes, and I do miss it already. It's been almost 3 months now that I haven't done it. So, and I think Raw was horrible, man. It was crazy horrible. So SmackDown's been the better show, and Matt Hardy's been a great part of that. I need to call JR, see if he's all right from them flames, though, man.
Is there any times when you were watching the WWE product and you kind of felt ashamed that you were a part of it? Well, you mentioned some of that stuff.
Ashamed that I was. Because of the program or something?
Yeah, or because of the angles that were going on, or the storylines, like JR getting set on fire. Or
No, I don't think I was never like a Shane. Because I mean, that's the only place now to really make a really good living. I mean, and Vince McMahon's the God. I mean, buying out WCW and that was. I thought that whole invasion stuff, that was the end, man. Because when I hear invasion, I hear Armageddon. I hear, oh, it's the end. Because what do you do? I mean, after. I just think that could have been done, a little better instead of like a draft from in Major League Baseball or whatever. That was kind of weird and like I don't know. It was strange, man. I think the whole business is just I don't know what's going to happen. 10 years from now, I can't tell you what it's going to be like, but we'll see, man. I think it's good that like Ring of Honor is established and really working hard because I know what it's like to put on a show. I know how much trouble and headache it is. So for people like that, I hear there's a lot of independence in this area, that's trying to do shows and everything, and that's great. And it's got to get back to like that easier stuff, man. You can't kill you'll kill yourself, man, like doing some crazy, like getting speared off ladder match rails or whatever that was that I got speared off of, and that crazy stuff. It's good that we're getting back to the more old school wrestling. I think we're kind of getting back to that slowly but surely.
If there was like a startup group, like maybe a TNA or Ring of Honor or any other indie that came to you and said, hey, we're going to make you the focal point, you're going to have booking power with us, do you think that's something that might start getting that passion going again that you had?
It possibly could, but like you mean like being the main guy or something, or getting
yeah. Or I mean, would it be tough since you would be in front of smaller crowds and you're used to the huge WWF production and stuff?
I actually watched that Genesis. The TNA Genesis, I don't know if you've seen that. And I've been impressed with their video stuff that they've done, the packaging and all that. I thought it's really good and like that almost motivated. I mean, because I know I would be a big, I could help that out a lot, but I don't think, it's so hard to challenge. And it takes a lot of time to get up there at the point, where WWE is. I mean, God, man, they're worldwide and just so huge. And, part of me wanted to do it. After I watched that, it almost made me, man, but I just got to do this music thing to really just see what's going on, because if people don't like it, then I think I'll be wrestling for sure. But if it soars, I might not wrestle again. But I think it'll come back. It's kind of got to. JR thinks God would put me here to wrestle, and a lot of people do. And I know I'm good when I want to be, like, but right now I'm not the Jeff Hardy I used to be, like, in the ring. And, I think I'll get back to that eventually, but I just don't know when.
Are you feeling better now that you've taken time off?
Yeah, I think this is what I needed too. Like, man, I don't know how long it's going to be. Man, I feel great. And I've sold some paintings, man. As far as making money, getting by, like, I'm A-okay like that. And like, rumors don't bother me at all. Whatever people say on the internet, or like if they say you, that don't faze me, man. It don't faze me at all. And I don't know when I'll go back to WWE, but I know I will. I do know I will.
Have there been any talks yet, or
not with them? I've talked to like wrestler. I keep in touch with like say a lot of friends, naturally, but not anybody in the office or nothing like that. But I know I'm welcome, back. It's just that I got to be committed 100%, and I got to be on time. If I would have never been on time, if I would have never been late, man, that's the big thing, you got to be on time. That's responsibility, and it's like a part of being an adult, and that's where I messed up. Wrecked my Corvette. I knew that was the last mistake that I made, but I needed it. I needed that to realize like what I love, and that is, wrestling. But I don't love it more than I love life. I think I said that last night. Like Matt loves it more than he loves life, because he's committed 100%. Man, that's what you got to do. And I'm just not that now. I'm not committed 100%. But it was cool to kind of do an independent, just because I do feel like a lot of people came to see me, like the little girls, and that's good, man. Just TV's so powerful, and to know that like I have a lot of fans out there is really, really cool.
One thing I noticed tonight is that you took the time, and it's very late right now, because you took the time and signed autographs for every fan. You would have signed autographs for every fan in the building.
Yeah, I would have, man. I seriously would have. Yeah. Because that's always been important to me, and like I know RVD's good about that. Like every now and then you'll catch him after the shows, like, and I've always tried to do that, because without them there's no us, man. No professional. And so I always try to do that. That's for sure. I don't know. I wonder what the guys say about that. No, man, you son of. But I thank them for coming, dude. I really do. And they're strange, man. I don't know if they want to like fight or what, but I think it's coming.
Seems like the no reaction from the fans is the negative reaction is really going to get to you at all. Or...
No, it don't get to me, man. It don't get to me at all, man. It trips me out to see what some people say. I think I mentioned this last night, but I sound like a pretty like serious Ring of Honor fan. It almost made me respond, like, because I was reading some of the things that people and some of the hype about me doing this show. What's this performance going to be like? Blah, blah, blah. What's it going to look like? And this is what somebody said something like this. You know, my mom died of cancer, like, when I was 9. Matt was like 12, 13, something like that. They said, hey, Jeff, in your book you say that your mom was proud of you. You know, she's looking over you. Was she proud of you when you got released? Oh, but I didn't say anything. It's hard when not to like want to respond and say, but it trips me out that some kid in their basement, that's their confidence, man, typing on that computer, man, when they're not jacking off. And it just trips me out, man.
Going back to the last few months, would you say how much of it was mentally and how much of it was physically that caused you leaving WWE? And would you say that right now mentally you're a lot better and physically you're a lot better?
Yeah, I think so, man. I think mentally it was so hard mentally because I know that was, God, it was a great job, man. And I mean, I landscaped before to make money, and I would make $300 a week, and just the money that can be made. It's a lot of traveling, don't get me wrong, but man, it's great, man. But then I also said, well, God, I'm getting older, because a lot of people talk about saving money and having it but to me, like, man, I just want to enjoy it. These are the best years of my life, man. And I don't want to, God, when I'm 60, I mean, I won't be able to do the things I can do now as far as athletically or outside, like riding a motorcycle and hobbies that I like now, you know. And I just kind of felt like I was missing out on that because I didn't like want to wrestle all the time like a lot of guys do. And so, I don't know. I don't know, like, what's going on, but I think it was a lot of mental, like, strain because just saying, God, what am I doing? I can't give this up. I can't give this up. But then I would still change a flight just because I was home and I didn't want to leave. And I was like, God, I changed my flight. It was like April 7th, I think. My last match was when I wrestled The Rock, and it was like, it wasn't horrible, but it wasn't good. It could have been so much better but I had a bad day that day, boy. Wrecked my Corvette, man, and going to the airport. And I changed my flight from that Sunday, so I knew that was it, man. I messed up for the last time. But, you know, we left on good terms, so.
Did you guys talk about that match with The Rock last night at all, or do you remember?
We didn't really talk about it. I don't think we didn't talk about it.
What was The Rock's reaction to the whole match and everything?
Oh, he was fine, man. My whole deal was, I think I'm good at getting sympathy, and I say this a lot, I shine when I sell, because I think a lot of people do pay to see me get my ass kicked because I do it, you know, good. And it's just I love it. That's my main, to me, my best selling is, I love it, man. It's such a big part of wrestling, and I love it, man. I really do. And, like, I think that's, The Rock knows that people, like, it's charisma, basically, a lot of charisma, let's say. Because, like, Johnny Ace, you know Johnny Ace. Johnny Ace. Dynamic dude. He said that, you know, they can train guys, you know, and they can teach them how to wrestle, but they can't teach them how to have charisma. It's kind of a hard thing to teach, and that is something that I've had, you know, and I've just been able to make people like me. And it shows when, like, an Undertaker ladder match, like, and the one comeback I did, like, the fans are electric, man. Just the hope that they have inside me winning, being the underdog, and man, that's a good thing to have, and I do have it, man. But man, Rock was just like, people love you, and man, you're good at that. And he knows. We talked about music too, because he actually comes in with a guitar like these days. Cause he plays like some jazzy stuff or something. But I was the first one ever walking. I was the first one ever walking into WWF with a guitar, and that was kind of because that kind of got some bad looks anyway. Like, oh, what are you concentrating on? Because we'd be playing the guitar in the locker room and stuff and learning. But then Rock came walking in with the guitar, and I was like, yeah, next. And he just said basically, because I felt bad after I said, man, this could have been so much better. And honestly, I thought they were going to ixnay the whole thing after the day, because I didn't get to the building until like 5 o'clock. Because when I wrecked my Corvette, man, I mean, naturally I missed my flight. So I thought they were going to not even do it, but they still done it. And That's kind of a good match, too, to be my last match, though. I mean, but I think I'll be able to redeem myself one of these days.
Cold sores? I hate how they feel and look. When I feel one, I want it gone. Fast.
Think fast. Think Zavarax. It starts to work immediately. Nothing fights the virus faster.
So I'm my real self again. Fast.
Think fast. Think Zavarax.
Indulge your washing. New Surf with essential oils.
He used to sweat so much that he could keep 2 fish alive. And that is why the people loved him.
How does it feel to be loved so much by your people?
Well, I feel very moved, but...
Link's dry. It's more than a deodorant. It's an antiperspirant.
It started. The first beat. It'll keep you going now. For life. If it's strong, you're strong. Driving you forward. Beat by beat. Step by step. Listen. Do you hear it? We'll take care of it. Be there for it. It's the center of everything you are.
Today, we're searching for even cheaper car insurance. We all know it's a real jungle out there. It doesn't have to be. Elephant.co.uk specialises in cheaper car insurance on the internet. You can go online, get a quote in minutes. You could save loads. Ah! So, to see how much you could save, go straight to elephant.co.uk.
For even cheaper car insurance, it's elephant.co.uk.
Migraine is not just a headache. A chemical imbalance in the brain induces headache, nausea, and sensitivity to light and sound. Immigram Recovery is the only treatment that tackles both the symptoms and the root cause of the migraine itself, helping to restore the chemical imbalance back to normal. Immigram Recovery, a positive way out of migraine.
Donne, nuovi Bertolli, nuovi Bertolli!
3 new Bertolli pasta sauces made with natural ingredients.
How did the agents and Vince McMahon and everybody react?
They were fine. I mean, they weren't really... It was kind of quiet. It wasn't like a Vince saying, good job, because, I mean, they know it. I know it could have been better. But I think they kind of knew what I was feeling. And they've been great, man. Like, JR was so great. He worked with me, man. Like, let me off every other weekend, you know, when I want some time off and everything. And he was great, man. So nothing, I don't complain about any of that. And, like, it was all on me. I'm all to blame. And I take all the blame for, like, and I'm being honest when I say I don't feel it like I used to, wanting to wrestle. So I think they knew what was going on, man. And, like, it wasn't like after a TLC match when it's like, oh my God, good match. You know, it was kind of like, thank you. That was it.
Did they ever say anything to you like, hey, you know, if you get your act together and start coming here on time and everything, you're going to be in for a bigger singles push? Or?
No, never nothing like that. Like, I don't know what goes on. But we talked about this last night about, like, when I won the Intercontinental belt and how it looks like something would, you know, happen. Like, I'd be doing some pretty good stuff after that, like, as far as being more of a mainstreamer or whatever. But then it kind of, and at that time, we were still doing the Hardy Boy stuff, and I wasn't being late, because that was one thing that was good about doing the Hardy Boy stuff. Matt was good about getting me out of bed, making sure I was on time. But yeah, it's like trying to figure out the stars, man. I'll never understand it, why they do the things they do, and like what it takes to, you know, be a mainstreamer. Because this is we talked about this too. I think the Stone Cold Steve Austin, the Triple H matches, man, we were so excited that was going to be a long, carried out, feud. Nothing, man. And we don't know if it was Stone Cold that said something like, "Oh, you wouldn't work with the boys, they ain't ready," or we don't know if Triple H said they ain't ready. We don't know what, it's hard. You can't know. There's no way to know. But the matches were great, and people enjoyed it, man.
Is it that kind of frustrating stuff that killed your passion?
I think that's a lot of it, man. And I would present like a lot of crazy like spots that people like wouldn't even take the time to listen to, man. Like, and that gets real when you take the time to really brainstorm and like want to do something different, man. And then it feels kind of good when you think of something, oh, that could work, and then you go tell the Dudleys and Edge and Christian, and then it's like, that's crazy. That was a big part of that was very frustrating. And I mean, I'm gonna start I should have taken action figures just to show the motion of what I seen in my head to show them, man, because that would frustrate the hell out of me, man. When something that I thought I felt good and felt safe about it, but they thought I would break my neck, and so that just really frustrated me a lot.
It seems like that the artistic side of wrestling, just like with the music and the pain and everything, is very important to you. Do you think that maybe the WWE tried to hold down that artistic side and tried to get you to fit some kind of a mold or anything?
Well, they had spoke about the music, and this was when SmackDown Records was going on. I mean, I thought something would happen with that, but it's like 6 feet deep now, and I think they were just, I don't know why they wouldn't do that, man. Because I was thinking they might just let me not wrestle and still be with the power they have promoting wise and getting my shit out there. I thought they would help me out with that, man. But evidently, I guess I talked to Jim Johnson on the phone, the guy that makes all the music. I guess he's hard to work with, and it's kind of just like his way or no way, and nothing ever happened with that. So I mean, that's going to be definitely on my own. But I wish it could have, man. You know what I'm saying? Kind of still been under contract with WWE, but just not wrestling, doing entertainment, doing music. But I mean, it didn't. So, and I'll never know really why that didn't happen, for sure.
Yep. And in the ring, was there ever any artistic things that tried to hold you back from doing, just those new moves?
No, I've seen a lot of things that people say that they held me back from doing a style, and that's why I got kind of mad or frustrated because they wouldn't let me do my style. But then they never really. I mean, there were some things that they would not let me do because they thought they were dangerous or risky, but they were always pretty they would present a lot of things and ask me if I could do it, ideas they had. You think you can do it? And I would say yeah or nay, and but no, they never really held me back. Matt was the one that always do that, really. Even before he went to SmackDown, and there was a time when he was just doing some heat stuff, and I was the one on Raw, and then just one Hardy on Raw. And Matt was still he would come, because I would always go to him because he's a genius, man. He's got a great brain for wrestling, man, to put matches together. I would always go to him and ask him what he thought I should do, and he would give me advice, and he would always kind of help me out with that. But yeah, no, it was.
Is there anybody in WWE or on the Indies or anywhere that you haven't had the chance to really work a program with that you would like to?
Number one, I think, and man, Rey Mysterio is probably the main guy I would really like to. Because it was cool watching Matt and him, at WrestleMania, and just the things that they did on SmackDown. So, yeah, and I love him to death. He's a great dude. So I'd like to definitely do that sometime.
What about any independent talent that's caught your eye or anything? I know AJ Styles is a friend of yours.
Yeah, AJ's great. Paul, who's in that main event?
Paul London.
Man, I think he's going to do so good for himself. And that was cool. This was his last match here, right? And that was cool. They allowed him to do. I taught him for a little bit before his match, and he's going to do real good, man. Anybody that can do a backflip and the comeback at the end of the match, every time they throw a drop kick, is very talented. He's going to do good. He's a good dude.
Okay. Do you have anything else?
What do you feel about the WWE writers that are not really in the business and they don't really know the business, but they're still writing for the company?
I think that it's I don't know. I wonder who wrote that about JR again, because I just thought that was ridiculous, man. And I mean, a lot of them they're cool guys, and I'll say hey to them when I walk in, when I was there, and but I think a lot of the stuff is screwed up just because they really don't. I don't know how long they've been fans or anything. I don't know what they wrote before they wrote wrestling, but they write some screwed up stuff sometimes, but then, they do good stuff sometimes. It's kind of tough, but I think it'd be a lot better if they kind of knew what it was like to, knew more about the whole, business and knew about taking bumps and all that, and like psychology, everything. But it's hard to, because you got to be breakthrough, and like doing stuff new is so hard these days. Like even what to wear. I mean, it's so hard to be different, man, because so much has been done. And it's a challenge. So the writing team, I think there's like, I don't know if there's too many like writers. There's a lot of writers, man, and I feel that Vince has to clear almost everything, like no matter what they brainstorm or come up with. I know he can't, okay everything, but I think he pretty much knows what's going on through a whole TV. And I don't believe that at all about people kissing up to the writers, and then that's kind of crazy to me. I've never believed that, man, because a lot of people said that back when Agent Christian won the match in Raleigh, the match we should have won in our hometown, the second TLC match, and the big deal was like Agent Christian kissed the head of Brian's ass, and that's why they're the champs. And I don't think that's the reason at all, because I don't think they have that power. Like, I don't think, if somebody kisses their ass, they can say, Vince knows that. I don't think they have that much pull, man, or control.
How do you rate yourself as a worker?
Now, like, between like 1 and 10, or now 5, man. 5 now, like a very potential 10. But yeah, now, not now, because I mean, you got to wrestle every match as if it was your last, man. Like, and I do always have that. I never have like fear. I do have fear, but I try to, when people hear me, they probably, that's that crazy dude, man. He's crazy. 5. Yes, 5, and I could be a 10 again, I think. But yeah, I mean, I know I'm not like what I used to be, for sure. And that's just because I don't know why, I can't really explain it, but I know I'm good when I want to be, and yeah, that's that.
Last
5.
question is, any regrets?
No, man. My life is beautiful. My life's great. My life is cool. Oh man, my life is great. It is great, and I mean, I just want to, whoever watches this, man, my life is great, and I am happy, and I can't complain. And whoever said that about my mom, like, I know your mom, in your book you said your mom's proud of you, for what you've done, and she's proud that she got released. You, dog. I hope you get a disease or some cancer takes over your body, and you die. Because you shouldn't say shit like that, man. You shouldn't say shit like that. And I'm telling you, man, it's gonna come back on you. It's gonna come back on you.
Wallop, I've just been hit by my car insurance. So I hunt around for a better deal. But what can I expect for my money?
Travelling abroad, sir? That's extra. Courtesy car? Oh, we don't do those.
Oh, but you do get a complimentary tax disc holder.
With Prue, the only surprise is that you get free green flag breakdown cover with recovery and home call-out included.
Oh, I'll do it now.
Call 0800 0327 479 or visit prue.co.uk.
Being refused credit for a car can really get you down. But now there's someone you can call. We'll take that old car as full deposit and give you a huge choice of vehicles from small cars to 4x4s. All cars are thoroughly checked and there's helpful, friendly staff to make sure your payments are easily affordable. So if you want to put a smile back on your face, you can. Just call 0800 612 1895. Visit youcancarcredit.co.uk or text YouCan1 to 80086 and we'll call you back.
Nice new drill, Steve. Quality is that?
Yeah. You won't believe the price I got it for either.
Yeah, I didn't notice you popping out for all that kit, John.
That's because I had it delivered. Only ordered it last night at 5 to 6.
What are you reading, Nick?
The new Screwfix Direct catalogue is the tradesman's secret that's too good to share. Call 0800 68 78 88 now for your free copy.
Now on DVD, witness the most brutal battle in history. Pathfinder, Extended Edition on DVD.
Cold sores? I hate how they feel and look. When I feel one, I want it gone. Fast.
Think fast. Think Zavarax. It starts to work immediately. Nothing fights the virus faster.
So I'm my real self again. Fast.
Think fast. Think Zavarax.
Dental experts are telling us the enamel on your teeth gets worn away because your teeth are exposed to an acidic environment. Juices, carbonated drinks, even fresh fruit. You probably wouldn't notice. The dentist can see there's a thinning of the enamel. There's things we can do. Carry on eating a good range of foods. Go and have a conversation with your dentist. Sensodyne Pronamel helps re-harden the enamel. It's specifically designed to help protect your teeth from acid erosion.
Migraine is not just a headache. A chemical imbalance in the brain induces headache, nausea and sensitivity to light and sound. Imogran Recovery is the only treatment that tackles both the symptoms and the root cause of the migraine itself, helping to restore the chemical imbalance back to normal. Imogran Recovery, a positive way out of migraine.
Donne, nuovi Bertolli, nuovi Bertolli!
3 new Bertolli pasta sauces made with natural ingredients.
This is London.
Hi there wrestling fans and welcome to another episode of LDN Capital TV right here on TWC Fight. I'm your host Fiona Fox, and before we go on I'd just like to say a big happy birthday to Capital TV. That's right, we've been bringing you the very best wrestling action that LDN has to offer every week for 1 whole year now, and if that's not a cause for celebration, I don't know what is. With that in mind, we've got a very special show for you tonight as we celebrate the first year of LDN Capital TV. One man who's hoping that tonight will be a cause for celebration is Ash. He has a chance to become the #1 contender for the LDN British Championship in an over-the-top rope battle royale. Ash lost the belt in the very first edition of Capital TV exactly 1 year ago tonight, and he's had a tough old time of it ever since. But tonight he's hoping his fortunes are finally going to change for the better, and we'll be bringing you that rumble later in the hour. But I can tell you for nothing, he's got his work cut out for him, because before that he's going to have his hands full with a man who's been a thorn in his side for the last several weeks here in LDN. Former counsellor turned full-time professional wrestler Jonathan Hardwick. Let's get down to ringside and join our commentator for the evening, Mr. TV, John Atkins.